Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the center. How exactly did you end up here? Could you tell us how your evening went?
Well, we kept watching the water come up closer to our motel wall, and it was almost up to the wall. But the motel manager said that we should stay there until we get a call to move, that they would move us.
About what time was it when they called?
Well, about 2:30. Mm-hmm.
About 2:30?
Yes.
Is this your first hurricane?
Yes, it is. We came in from Hanover, Pennsylvania, and last night we stayed in Greenville, and we heard this news that there perhaps would be a storm, and we just got sicker as we got down here, but we had plans to meet our friends, some from Tulsa, some from St. Petersburg, and we all gathered down at the Holiday Inn. And as the night wore on, I just spoiled everything we planned to do. We just got more shook up by the minute.
Is this... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That's all right. But we all went to bed and just waited for the motel told us they'd call us. And when the phone rang, I knew that was it.
Is this going to discourage anybody from coming back here? Is this a deterrent to vacationing in Florida?
Well, after tornadoes in Oklahoma, I guess I can go through a hurricane in Florida.
You know there's tornado warnings here tonight. Has that made any effect on the decision you have to make to stay here or leave here? When are you going to try to leave?
Well, if the storm blows over, we're going back to our motel. We expected to spend our vacation here a few days. Down along Route 98, we were out at Holiday Inn West.
Okay.
So we plan to go back there if the storm blows away. Do you think it will?
My prediction?
What is your prediction?
I'll tell you in about 4 hours.
I haven't been in one of these in 30 years.
You live here in Panama City?
Yes, sir.
And how long is this your first one?
Yes, sir. It sure is.
What type of business are you in?
Well, I did work at the Bay Point Country Club.
Now, what has this done? Are you obviously forced to leave your home? What other arrangements have you had to make?
Well, just getting over here. I'm without transportation, and it was quite rough.
How did you get here?
Called the Red Cross, and they sent a car out to bring us over.
How long do you foresee having to stay here?
Until it's over, or until they give the all clear, and then we'll go on back home, if there's a home left there to go to.
Are you close to where the water is?
Yes, sir. We're about a half a block from the water.
Have you seen any hurricane damage thus far in
No.
the area when you were coming down here?
No,
Nothing?
none at all.
Okay, thank you. Good.
Mhm.
Are you, I assume that these are your children?
Yes, the daughter here. This is one of the neighbor's sons here.
Oh.
We're a family here, except for the little guy.
Okay, good. Best of luck to you. You're from where?
Honeypath, South Carolina.
Oh, you're visiting down here?
Yeah.
Is this your first hurricane?
Yeah, I've never been in a hurricane.
What do you think?
I've been about 9 of them.
You've been in 9 hurricanes?
Miami.
Oh,
We lived here 3 years one time.
We never did have a hurricane.
Never did have a hurricane those 3 years we were here. And then we've been back every year since 1956 on a visit, except 1 year, 73. We didn't come in 73.
this is the first one. You said that you lived here.
Right.
How close to the water do you live?
I'm about a mile from the water.
And when were you finally, was this your decision to evacuate, or was this decision made for you?
My daughter called me and said, Mama, get out.
And what about the two friends here? Did they,
I brought them with me because I leave them.
okay, what do you plan to do if things get worse around here?
If it gets worse, I just stay and ride it out because I don't trust my car.
Everybody had transportation down here? Did y'all come together?
No.
You didn't come together?
We never did see one.
We never seen them till now.
Is this the first hurricane that you've been through here?
No, it isn't.
What, is this one look similar at this point to others that you've been in?
Well, it's a different time of the day at least. We had one, that hit in the afternoon, but this one's scheduled to come about daybreak, I think, here.
Now, is this downtown area have a lot of problems? Is this a bad area for the hurricane?
Well, we have a lot of plate glass that can, smash, and that's the real problem with our front is the plate glass.
How early did the other merchants begin to evacuate?
I really don't know. Now, one store this afternoon about 2 or 2:30, our time.
So it was pretty empty all day here, though.
Well,
Or were there a lot of people?
No, our business went on as usual until 5:30.
People stuck it out.
Right, until 5:30.
What do you do now? You just board it up and take off and come back in a day or so and find out what happened?
Right. We'll watch the weather advisories, the bulletins on TV, and keep up with them. That's all we can do.
Good, thank you.
Thank you.
We're in the Civil Defense headquarters here, and we're trying to get a word here with Jay Mills, who's the director out here. We're just a few minutes, about an hour away from the projected time that the hurricane is supposed to get into the Panama City. That's the actual eye of the hurricane. It's still moving northeast to this direction, but we'll find out more from Mr. Mills here. He's talking about whether or not they're going to have to evacuate the city or what they're going to have to do, and I think that includes the business district as well. Excuse me one second. Mr. Mills, just exactly what's taking place here now?
Well, we're consistently getting reports that the storm is going to hit Panama City. In fact, the last 3 hours, the last reports all confirm this fact, so we have completely evacuated the beach areas here in the county, and in the process of evacuating all people in areas 10 feet or less here in the cities.
What happens if it hits at the projected time, which I guess is about sunrise, about 6:30? If it hits, it hits?
If it hits, it comes in, I guess. We're about as ready as we can be. Hopefully, we're ready for it.
How are the communications set up? Where exactly are the stations, and how do you go about monitoring this?
Well, of course, the main link of our communications is through our volunteers, through the races and through CBs and amateurs. They keep us pretty much spotted as far as conditions out in the county. When we get these touchdowns on tornadoes and different things, they keep us posted on it. Of course, what you're looking at up in here now is are all of our communications as far as local government, LGR, state government radios, and communications that reach on out into the county.
Is it about still about 130 miles an hour and about 150 miles south, I believe?
It's 100 miles south of Pensacola, which would make it probably around 130 miles southwest of Panama City.
So it's
picked up speed 15 to 20 miles an hour.
Chief McCauley, what has taken place up to this point? It is the official sunrise has already passed, but we don't see too much sun. What's the condition of the city at this point?
Well, we've had some wind damage. We've had a lot of power lines down. We've had several plate glass windows blown out, automobile agencies and that sort of thing. We've had a couple of trailers that have been, one has been crushed by a fallen tree. Another one has been overturned and torn up by the wind.
Any injuries up until this point? Any injuries at all?
No injuries at this point that we know of.
What will the condition or the operational procedure be for the next few hours, considering the fact that the eye hasn't even reached here yet?
Okay, we'll continue with what we're doing, is attempting to get people out of the what we consider the most dangerous areas. We haven't been entirely successful at that because we can't insist on it. All we can do is ask them and advise them, and most have responded well, some have not.
Can you give us any kind of an estimate as to how many officers you have out at this hour?
At the present time, I've got 20 cars rolling with 2 officers in most all of them, 3 in some.
Is that just about all the officers that are available?
No, I've got a few in reserve, but not too many.
If things continue as they are and the damages stay as minimal as they have, although it doesn't seem like that will be the case since we haven't really seen the highest winds, I would assume that it'd be quite applauded to all the public service agencies of the area who have really done a super job here.
Yeah, we've been gratified by the cooperative spirit, and not only of the public, like I've mentioned, but all of the agencies. They've thrown in and done rather well, I think.
Well, walking down into the cellar of this office of Preparedness, we see that, well, you'll hear some generators in the background. This is the Civil Defense Office. The radio control operation seems to be taking place down here. It's kind of clumsy in small quarters. You might have a little bit of trouble hearing things. We'll walk back into the radio room where they're working. We're on emergency power here. We've just had a power failure and we're working off the generators, which seem to be exploding themselves. This is one of the radio rooms, and there's some small children in here. They're here with their families, trying to take a nap and catch something to eat, and this is where all the radio control has been coming from in order to take care of a lot of the situations that have arisen here. In the last few minutes, it's 7 o'clock Central Daylight Time here, 7 a.m. There have been a lot of windows broken and trees falling and generators going out, and we seem to be getting it hard as most people here. This is just another part of the Civil Defense Center.